Hi, Jule.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. I think we've got something quite interesting to explore together. And it's around that whole idea of what makes us feel that we trust a therapist or someone we're going to for support, or how do we get that feeling, that this is going to work, or maybe we don't get the feeling at the beginning, and maybe it's not until after a session with someone that we kind of walk away going, "Oh yeah, that was good," or "that worked," or whatever. So it's a very interesting, intangible subject. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's super interesting and like you say, very intangible because there's lots of subconscious reasons why we choose people.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but like for me, if I'm searching for a particular, let's say I've researched a modality and I'm trying to find a practitioner, if I've got no information, the first thing I go off is their face. I need to see their face. So if there's no face on the internet, on the website, I just there's no connection and I will never contact that person. I've got a very it's the face is important. I just immediately know I'm drawn to the face and then I'll try and find out some more information like maybe they've put up a little video. I want to hear how they speak and I get drawn to the energy of a person is what I think I'm trying to say. How
I'd
does
have
it
to
work
agree
for you?
100% exactly the same. It really is this, I have a yes or a no.
Mm,
Once I've seen the person's face, or maybe I've heard from someone else about someone. I had one experience once where I was just stopped in the street and saw someone's sign.
okay, yeah.
It was so weird. It was just so weird. And something in me went, oh, yes, I'm going to go see that person. And it worked out really well.
Okay. Well, like just a written sign, was it in the
Yeah,
street?
it was
Like,
just
okay.
signage on the person's, like, because they weren't at street level. They were upstairs somewhere, but I just saw this
Ah,
sign
okay. Yeah.
and it was like, oh, yes, whatever.
That's so
So
fascinating.
it is
So what
fascinating.
drew you to the site? Was it what it said, or was it just the vibe of it, or you just had
Well,
this like
that's this is where
intuition
it
that
gets really, really, really weird because I
yeah.
couldn't tell you what it was about the sign.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you. And then, of course, I went on the website
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and saw the photo of the person.
Yeah.
And I did look at testimonials.
Okay.
So that's important too, I
See,
think.
that's funny because for me, I never look at testimonials.
Well, this
It's
person
not
was
something I
pretty
look at.
smart, had her testimonials sort of like really in front of you on
Okay.
there,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And they weren't long, drawn out
Yeah.
testimonials. I don't know, it was just,
Just something.
mm, yeah, it was just something.
Yeah. I know what you mean about the just something and not quite being able to comprehend what that something is, because that's
Yeah.
certainly how I find people
Mm,
if
mm,
if I want to use a service that like yeah, there's just something and I just know it's that person. And but then I will try and research as much as I can after that and see what else they've got available in the public sphere or on the internet just to see if I really do vibe with them.
yes.
But then sometimes I've just gone off that initial vibe and it's worked out.
Yes. Sometimes it hasn't worked out for me.
Mm, yeah, yeah,
Sometimes I've
same.
kind of, I couldn't really say I've had really, really horrible, dramatically horrible experiences. Maybe I would have to say sometimes it's been less helpful than I perhaps was hoping for.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. And I've certainly had many experiences where I haven't been happy with a service as well. Whatever, so I'm talking broadly about services, not necessarily therapeutic, but any kind of service. Um, but there was one in a therapy setting for me where there was a rupture, but that rupture actually turned out to be quite healing, even though I ended that service. So I still feel like it was right. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I was drawn to them
Yes.
and I had about 6 sessions with them, so it wasn't just a one-off thing. And then we had a big rupture and the rupture was part of my healing, that I had to end it and it had to be on me. And that was actually quite healing. So I still think it was for the right. I still think I was drawn to that person for a specific lesson or a specific reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. And I think it's wonderful when we can come to that realization in our lives that even things that initially um, seem or feel negative or, for want of a better word, detrimental,
Mm, yes.
that we can allow time to give us this experience of the rightness of something, or that the understanding, I guess, that not not everything has to look a certain way to be helpful.
Yeah, that's a really good point, isn't it?
Interesting,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
really because sometimes it's those negative things that end up being really helpful. And for me, in that instance, yeah, that was actually quite helpful for me to understand that, like, I could determine what was happening and make a really informed decision about why, and that it wasn't my error, but that the error was too big to for me to try again, you know? It was interesting.
And what I'm hearing is that you were able to draw from a different part of yourself and understand a different part of yourself by that
Yeah,
experience.
absolutely. That's
And I think
exactly it. Yeah.
that's magic, when we're talking about this pathway
Mm,
of self what development or self awareness or self realization,
hmm.
whatever we want to call it,
Yeah.
which is what you're doing when you're going out there and seeking therapeutic help, regardless of whether you think it's just, going to hear, talk therapy, or whether you're going all the way to sort of like doing a whole weekend somatic workshop, and everything in between. It's all really leading to this aspect or understanding more aspects of ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. And that's exactly what happened. Like you hit the nail on the head. It's exactly what happened because in the past, like my older self or a past version of myself would have always kind of gone with the authority of the other person, especially because this was a therapy. So there's a power dynamic, right? Always. Like, so I would have in the past always gone, well, she must be right. She's in a position of authority. And this was a moment where I was like, you are so wrong. And I know you're so wrong. And I ended it because of that.
Yeah.
So there was a part of me, this new part that was like, I know how right I am here, and I'm going to advocate for that. And I'm going to take a very definite step to, say that it's wrong, that you're wrong. So yeah, it was a different part of me. And that's the healing, right? It's like firstly understanding that and then taking that action or the steps to go ahead and see that through that situation. So
Mm,
yeah, it was definitely healing in that way.
yeah. I'm just aware with your sharing that experience that, when we go to see therapists, or when we go and have some level of support in that way, that we are seeing another human being
Mm,
with
yes.
all the humanness, which is essentially healing because of that shared coherence that can happen.
Hmm.
Um, but also they can turn up and be fallible just like we are,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
really,
it's a
it's
really
really
interesting,
tricky.
yeah, well, that any kind of human to human dynamic is going to show some complexity. So I feel like even the longer you go and see somebody as well, maybe you've had a few sessions, or maybe you've maybe it's just one, but yeah, there's a complexity to any human dynamic because they're going to bring
Mm,
what mood they're in that day or their life experiences. That's what happened in my case. It was her life experience that she couldn't get into the other perspective of because that would mean admitting something in herself that she wasn't willing to do. And this is where you get into the complexities. But with anything, yeah, someone's mood could affect how they show up that day, you know,
Yeah.
or yeah, so many things, and or your mood, and you know, if we're going into the parts of ourselves, like a part of you could be interacting with a part of them, and you're just not gelling on that day, whereas on another day, it's like two different parts, and you're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. So it
Yes.
really does just depend on the person, and yeah, how natural your energy flows between the two of you as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's such an interesting uh, experience, isn't it, to sort of explore what helps us at different times of our lives. I mean, I think I've been through, it sounds a bit dramatic, but like, I've touched on lots of different types of therapy in my own life. And at certain times, some things work, and then other times, other things work. And, it's underneath all of that, it's really this person to person experience.
It
When
is,
I
yeah.
look back on it all,
Mm.
there's been times when I've had seen a counselor once and didn't go back
Yeah.
because we just didn't gel. And then there was another time when I did, lots and lots of acupuncture, and that
Mhm.
was like amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just so fascinating.
It is so fascinating. And then sometimes you outgrow them as well. Like I was seeing someone for quite some years and then you just outgrow their service. It's almost like you've evolved into a different thing. No, I'm not saying in terms of like being better. It's not like a superiority thing. It's
No,
just like you
no,
just don't need that particular thing anymore. You've
yes,
got what you need and you've kind of evolved into something different, a
absolutely,
new version of yourself that needs something different. So that's happened
yes,
as well in a non-dramatic way. It's just like, oh,
yes,
actually, this doesn't quite work for me anymore, you know,
yes,
even though the
yes,
person's lovely and they didn't do anything wrong or like it's yeah, it's a funny thing. What you need is very sub what you need is quite subconscious and you don't really
yeah,
know what you need. And some people have been able to meet that and some people haven't. And
yes,
that's not anyone's fault because how these things are invisible. They're
yes,
beneath, they're not physical things and they're not tangible things. So
yes,
yeah.
yes. And I'm aware also that if you're in a space where you're not really used to seeking out that kind of help, it would, and it has been for me, I think when I was younger, it's actually overwhelming
Mm,
to try to find what you're wanting or what you need, or to trust yourself to find what you need, even.
yeah.
And that's probably a little easier these days, I think, than when I was younger, when there's websites and there's, often you can find someone, as you say, who's speaking on a video or an audio or something to help you make that decision.
Mm. Yeah, it's just so overwhelming, isn't it? Because how you don't even know what service you need sometimes, because many different services can do similar things and can help you. So where do you start? Like, yeah, I guess that comes with just experience of trying different things as well. But when you're not in the headspace to do that, that makes it very difficult as well.
Very, very difficult. Very difficult. I guess for me, when I think in terms of that, is then it comes down to a certain expectation, doesn't it?
Mm,
It's like, well, okay, I know that I really am seeking some help, or I'm really seeking some support. And maybe I'm going to have to explore how I get that a little bit.
mm,
And I might hit it immediately or I might not. And
mm.
giving myself permission to kind of explore that. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And try, I think a good tip as well is to try and explore some things when you're not in a crisis. Because when you get into that point where you really desperate, I'm talking about therapy now, I guess. There's many different therapies or healing things, like whichever one you're drawn to, but like once you get to the point of crisis, it makes the research almost impossible. So it's a pretty good thing to try and get like some services in your head when you don't quite need them yet. Do you know?
Easier
Which
said
is,
than
it's easier
done.
said. Yeah, I was just thinking that as I was
I
saying it,
mean, I was
that
just
that
thinking like
forward
a
planning,
lot
you
of
know.
clients that come to me first time that they're there because there's a crisis.
Yeah, for counseling, but for other, I'm maybe talking about,
Oh, yes, for the
yeah, for like
mm,
other things, like, you know, if you need some body work or energy work or something like that, like, you know, to try
mm,
and start from scratch and research and filter out all the people that aren't going to work for you when you
mm,
really need
mm.
the help. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Or, yeah, I guess for any therapies anyway, counselors or whatever, because there is like you can just really hit it off wrong, you know. I've had some shocking experiences with that as well when I have been in crisis and tried to reach out for help, and it's just it just when you're not resilient, it makes it a million times worse when you're not
yeah,
met in that
yep,
space at the other end,
yep,
and it's just awful. It's just it hits way deeper when you're in a crisis, I think.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that there are particular people who work in that space, though, isn't there?
Mm.
You know, like they're quite they quite clearly say that they'll do that sort of crisis support,
Yeah,
which
but
could
they're
be
the
more helpful.
no, they're the ones that have, yeah, have not. I'm talking
Oh,
about a
I
personal
see.
experience now.
Yes,
I'm saying
yes,
like
yes.
you ring in the right numbers, you call in the right people, and you just coincidentally or bad luck or whatever, just get somebody on the other end of the phone who is not meeting you in that space in the way that
Mm-hmm.
you need them to meet you in that space. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've had people, yeah, they should be trained, but like very dismissive, very invalidating, and not listening to what I'm saying, and then getting
Mm-hmm.
and then repeating wrong information back to me, you know, basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes, it doesn't really build that trust experience, does it?
Absolutely not. No, no.
You know, when people come to me with a crisis, we really focus down on that. You know, the rest can wait. It's really
Mm.
about getting someone out of emergency, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And for me, I don't know what that looks like for you, but for me, that's meeting someone in the emotional, excuse me,
Yeah,
my voice is, I need to
that's
cough.
right.
Yeah, meeting someone in that emotional space because that's what's worked for me. So that's
Yes.
the theory that I use, right? Is I base it off like my own experience. So I've, you know, been met with invalidation, dismissiveness, and minimization of the situation that I'm in. But
Mm.
then I call somebody else or I go to a different service. And what's really worked, and I'm so grateful, is when they've met me in my emotional state, resonant. You were talking about resonance. They've met me on an emotional resonance with me. That's all I need them to do. They're not saying some magical, amazing
No,
thing. They're not giving me
that's the
this,
thing, isn't it?
yeah, they're not
Yes,
giving me
this
this
is the
amazing
thing.
piece of advice or knowledge that I'm not aware of. They met me so deeply in my emotional state. And I am so grateful for that. And that's what I try and do with other people. That's what I try and be. And that's
Likewise.
come from my lived experience of being met with two completely opposite, polar opposite experiences.
What I notice for myself and working with others is the last thing you need when you're in a crisis or when you're overwhelmed, upset, trying to deal with lots of things is a strategy
Yes, a strategy or some
or a
clinical terms or
solution
something.
or
Yeah.
a solution.
Yeah. Oh,
All
that's
you need
so
in
fun.
that moment is to have someone go, I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Exactly.
This is horrendous or
Yeah.
overwhelming or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm with you. And allowing the person to have the space.
Yeah.
And what I notice is when that resonance or that coherence
Yeah.
between us is there, everyone has a chance to calm a little or enough
Mm.
to
Well,
have our minds start to come back online a bit more and
yeah.
get,
It,
like get a little bit of stability happening.
Yeah, for me, it's the witnessing of, and I'll use that same experience, but I'll give a little bit more detail. It was the same, I was extremely distressed in a crisis moment, and I called two people. The first person just said, "Have you tried journaling about it in a
Oh,
crisis?" And I just, like, could you imagine telling somebody that?
oh
Like
dear, oh
how
dear, oh dear.
and then other thing, invalidation, and then just not listening. And like, I just felt like they were just going through a script. There was no human, even though it was a human, there was no human there. And then I called another service, somebody else. They met me in the emotion of it and ended up crying with me. That's all I just wanted someone to feel. Just feel how hurt I was and how distressed I was. And that person really met me in there. She could
Mm,
empathize with it and ended up, yeah, really validating how distressed and hurt I was and betrayed and all of that sort of thing. And it was really,
mm,
really beautiful. I will never forget that moment. That's all she
yes.
did. That's amazing. And I will always be so grateful. So yeah, the humanness, isn't it? Yeah, you don't want to be met with a strategy, like you said, a strategy. And I could have it was if that person was in front of me and they said, "Have you tried journaling?" I would have probably punched them. Like, you know what I mean? Of like all the, oh my God, journaling. What are you talking about? Are you for real right now?
Well, if I could get my thoughts together enough to actually write them down, then maybe I would be able to do
Yeah.
some journaling, but that's not really where I'm at right now.
I don't know
It's so
where they got that
beautiful,
from.
isn't it? Like, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm so grateful for the work that I do because of this whole underpinning of the humanness of our all of us who can share an experience of being human together,
Yeah. Yeah.
and how deeply healing that is really in the moment, regardless of long term, this, that, or the other. I think that our human experience is so steeped in who we feel we are in each moment
Mhm.
that if we're met there,
Yeah.
something relaxes.
It's all about
It's
being
just
met
got
there,
to.
isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about, and that's the foundation of trauma work is being
Mm,
met and witnessed and seen with compassion and love in those moments.
that's it.
Because
That's it.
we are human, we are wired to connect and we are wired to attach to other humans and we are wired to want belonging. And these are all inherent things that we need as humans. And that's to me the foundation of therapy. Like, yeah, all the other things are just extra things, coping strategies, da, 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 da. They're just little things that can help or not help or be part of a longer structured kind of pathway. But in those
Yes.
moments, you just need a human. I really believe that.
Yes.
That's,
And
yeah,
I
that's
don't know
been my
about you, but when
experience.
I felt really seen by someone,
Mm,
and I felt really, they don't even have to say they understand, or they don't even
mm,
have to tell me that they've had a similar experience or any of that. But if I get that feeling, and that's just with presence, that feeling that whatever I say, they're listening
yeah. And that they care, maybe.
and that they care, that is so deeply transformative for me
Mm,
because what happens to me is that I can relax. If I'm relaxed, then I feel like I can, I kind of can draw on what I know.
mm,
It's very interesting.
mm,
When I'm relaxed, I feel like I have access to my own resources
mm.
a bit more.
Yeah, and there's studies behind that. That's how the nervous system works, is that when you're in the activation stages of either shutdown or like hyperactivation, then it shuts down those parts of the brain that
That's
are rational, and you go into the
absolutely.
automatic, you go into the emotional learnings, you go into the trauma responses. So yeah, there's actually science behind that as well.
Yep.
So exactly
Yep.
what
There's
you're
a lot of science
explaining.
behind that whole, when we're in that state, crisis state, whether it be overwhelm, whether it be trauma, whether it be whatever it might be, the back brain comes online. We drill down to just that problem, which is we want that to work. I've said that before. But then that robs us literally of everything else to be able to understand our situation.
Mm,
So we need to that's the thing that needs to relax. That's the thing that needs to be addressed.
yeah. Yeah, it's putting you back into safety, I guess, is the way, an easy way of saying it is you've got to get back into safety
I'm laughing because
before.
we come back to this, don't we, quite often. Um, but
Yeah.
it's so fundamental, isn't it?
It is. We're like little systems with little switches, and if you're switched into a highly activated state, it shuts other things off. So you've got to flick the switch back into the safety area. And then from there, that's when you've got your decision-making skills, your problem-solving skills. That's when all the strategies can come
It's
in.
come, come in.
You've got to feel safe first and met
Yeah.
and seen and witnessed. That's the
So it's
healing thing.
interesting, isn't it, that we started the conversation with how do you find support? How do you
Mm,
work with getting that support that you need? Who do you choose?
mm.
And so I'm just thinking now, well, what you choose is you lean into that idea of safety, don't
Yeah,
you?
you
And
choose who
if at
you feel
any
safe
moment
with.
you don't feel safe,
Yeah,
then that's not the place to be.
that's right. And it can just change,
Could it
can't
be
it?
that
Yeah.
simple?
Yeah, it kind of can be that simple because you have to feel safe. And even with a rupture, you can still feel safe within that, because if they still care about it and take accountability for it
Ability,
and want to
absolutely.
work with you, but there's a whole other thing when you're not met like that, that breaks the safety. So you've got to kind of understand like what keeps you feeling safe, but also, yeah, boundaries. I mean, all the human things, isn't it? Yeah, it all comes back to the inner trust, the trust in yourself, the autonomy that you have, and understanding your own reactions, behaviors, responses, so that you can, and then the things that work for you as well to put you back into the safety, so that you can make an informed choice to the best of your ability at any given moment. And yeah,
Yes.
you find your people. You find your people.
Yes. And not to sort of feel like throw the baby out with the bathwater. If the first person you come across is not feeling right,
Mm,
then that's not on you. It's
mm.
just that you need to go and find
Yeah,
more
and that can be
people.
hard. Like I do understand that's hard when when you need the help, and it can feel like a rejection or like, oh, the world's against me, or da, da. You can go into the, you know, catastrophizing or the extreme stories of that as well. So it is hard. But yeah, finding just keep trying. Keep
Yeah.
keep
I think
searching for your
that's
people,
it,
and
isn't it?
try and create a little team of people that you know, like, oh, if I need a massage, I've got this person that I can go to. If I need some energy work, I can go to this person. If I need a therapist, I can go to this person. If I need a friend, I can go to this person. You got to create a little team around you, I think.
That's probably a good place to kind of finish it off.
Yeah,
The nice little roundabout way of coming to the conclusion that there aren't any mistakes, really.
yeah. Everything contains learning.
Yeah, I think
Everything.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, lovely to talk to you, Sarita.
Likewise, Jule. See you soon.
See ya.